not quite. We're celebrating something else today. My parents' anniversary. Look at them, aren't they cute? Welcome to this New Year's Eve edition of Call the Shots. I'm Olivia Jakewith, and today we'll be taking a look back at the top moments in sports in 2018, as well as the games you won't want to miss when we ring in the new year. It all happens here when I call the shots. 2018 has been a year of the good, the bad, and the ugly. But this episode is going to be all sunshine and rainbows as we take a look back at the best sports moments of 2018. Ladies first. In no particular order, here are my top 10 moments in women's sports for 2018, starting with WWE Evolution. The pay-per-view itself wasn't anything to write home about, but just the fact that it happened. Finally, an all-women's WWE pay-per-view. That's what puts it in my top 10. In November, Rutgers women's basketball coach C. Vivian Stringer led her team to victory over Central Connecticut for her 1,000th career win. Her journey to 1,000 wins has been one of much perseverance both on and off the court. On the men's side, only Duke's Coach K has reached 1,000 wins. The Women's US Open final would have been memorable regardless of the outcome, with Serena Williams' return to tennis after the birth of her daughter. But it was made even more so by the upset win by a young up-and-coming Naomi Osaka and a rift with the chair umpire that docked Williams a point penalty for 2 code violations. For those of you who don't know, I worked on NBC's coverage of the 2018 Olympic Winter Games, so all things Olympics are near and dear to my heart, especially the U.S. women's national hockey team. Going into the gold medal game, Canada was the team to beat, having claimed the last 4 Olympic golds. The game went into a shootout, and almost 20 years to the day from their last gold medal win, the U.S. women claimed gold once again. Also during the 2018 Games, the world was introduced to 17-year-old Chloe Kim, who became the youngest woman to win an Olympic snowboarding medal when she won gold in the women's snowboard halfpipe. Just a few days later, also in Pyeongchang, Keegan Randall and Jessie Diggins made history in women's team sprint cross-country skiing, becoming the first U.S. women to win Olympic cross-country skiing medals and ending a 42-year medal drought for Team USA in the sport. In the photo finish, Diggins edged out second-place Sweden by just 19/100ths of a second. It wasn't an Olympic year for American gymnast Simone Biles, but that didn't stop her from adding to her medal collection. In November, Biles claimed 6 medals at the World Gymnastics Championships, bringing her total World Championship medal count to 20, which is tied for the most by any female gymnast. The U.S. women's national soccer team is gearing up for the World Cup in France in 2019. The best way to show you're ready for World Cup action? Go undefeated for an entire year, just like the U.S. women's national team. There were plenty of impressive NCAA national championship performances this year, and we'll talk about a couple more later. But the Notre Dame women's basketball national championship win by a buzzer beater takes the cake. And because this was a marathon of achievements for female athletes in 2018, I'll end with Desiree Linden's Boston Marathon win. She became the first American woman to win this marathon in 33 years. Male athletes had quite a year as well. Again, in no particular order, I'll start with Tua Tagovailoa's title-winning touchdown pass. Though he didn't win the Heisman for it, Tagovailoa's perfect 41-yard touchdown in overtime gave the Crimson Tide their 5th national championship under Nick Saban. Also in college sports, UMBC pulled off the most shocking upset in NCAA tournament history, defeating Virginia 74-54 during March Madness. UMBC became the first number 16 seed ever to beat a number 1 seed. Because I love the Olympics so much, I could not leave out Team Schuster taking gold in men's curling in Pyeongchang. Ham Fam were the real stars of U.S. curling, but this men's team became the first American team to ever win gold in curling, so I guess they deserve a shout out. How could we forget UFC 229 when Khabib Nurmagomedov defeated Conor McGregor? Except that defeat isn't what makes UFC 229 a top moment in 2018. It was the fight that broke out afterward, which was so bad that it prompted the NSAC to file a formal complaint against both fighters. In November, Chiefs-Rams fans witnessed the highest scoring game in Monday Night Football's 773-game lifespan. With 2 late Patrick Mahomes interceptions, the Rams held on to top the Chiefs 54-51 in the third highest scoring game in league history. Now, onto our 2018 champions. While we're on the topic of football, I have to mention the Super Bowl 52 champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles entered the playoffs as underdogs after starting quarterback Carson Wentz suffered a season-ending injury late in the regular season and was replaced by backup quarterback Nick Foles. Plus, I'm pretty sure Brady and Belichick have a second home in the Super Bowl. Everybody loves a good underdog story, which is what makes this Eagles win that much sweeter. I think the Warriors also own playoff real estate because 2018 was the year when they won their third NBA title in just 4 years. There was some question as to whether LeBron could carry the Cavs all the way, but that question was answered swiftly when the Warriors won the final in just 4 games. The Women's World Cup takes place in France in 2019, and it was the French team that won the Men's World Cup in 2018. The world was still getting to know Kylian Mbappe when he scored twice to help France knock Argentina and Lionel Messi out of World Cup competition and propel the French team to the final. If you've been watching Call the Shots since the beginning, you saw my coverage of the US Open. Not only did Novak Djokovic win the US Open, but he also claimed the top spot at Wimbledon this year. I had to save the best for last, of course, with the Red Sox being crowned World Series champions. The Sox surpassed the 100-win mark for the first time in a season since 1946 and defeated the Dodgers for the Commissioner's Trophy 4-1. That was 2018, and on the first day of 2019, there will be plenty of sports to watch. Texas faces Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, UCF faces LSU in the Fiesta Bowl, and Washington faces Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. If you want a more in-depth bowl game breakdown, check out episode 16. If basketball is more your speed, here are the New Year's Day games you won't want to miss. "2018 was filled with some pretty memorable moments in sports. Not all of them picture perfect. On the women's side, Florida State claimed national championships in both softball and soccer. If you're a Florida State fan, this is great. If you have taste and you're a University of Florida fan, not so much. I miss the days when Abby Wambach, you know, the woman with the most international goals to date, was a leading lady on the Gator squad. On the men's side, another Gator moment. I must have watched this video of Jacob Copeland's National Signing Day ceremony 100 times. I'll just let the video speak for itself.
But I like now that I'm taking my time for the next 3-4 years.
You got so, Jacob, you're going to Florida. Who just got up and left there, and to your right? Who got up and left?
Oh, that was my mom.
I'm Olivia Jakewith, and that wraps it up for this week's episode of Call the Shots. If you haven't made a New Year's resolution yet, I think it should be to watch more Call the Shots, either on Instagram, YouTube, or both. In the poetic words of Whitney Simmons, until next time, I will see you next time.